Hey. So I've already had my 2 cups of coffee for the day, and I'm on my first cup of cocoa, which the water just finished and I need to put the cocoa in. The husband is off on the weekly shopping run. It's not quite a weekly, every other week shopping run, whatever. We're out of a few things, we need a few things. He wants to hit the thrift store and see if he can find a few things, you know, the kind of thing. Mostly we're out of potatoes, yogurt, and Tums. The shopping list is there. It says potato, yogurt, Tums, kitchen garbage bags, glue that will stick, because I was having problems with getting glue to stick to a surface. And then glue stick, Elmer's glue, check spam if it's cheap. Yeah. Anyway. So I have my cocoa, which is still too hot to drink. As soon as it dissolves. I am working my way through a head of garlic that started to sprout. And I wanted to show you that sometimes when you're pulling garlic apart, you will have garlics that have this. Don't bother trying to plant that. It already sprouted and died. Okay? The garlic is still usable. The other thing, when you're pulling apart a head of garlic and you hit the small little ones, everything gardening says don't bother planting these. They don't tell you why. The reason why is that when you plant a clove, come back here, you are cloning that clove technically. Okay? So the clove, the head that forms will be this clove that big. See how that works? But if you plant something like this and you clone this, the head that it will be tiny. And I have plenty and plenty of tiny heads of garlic because I think they're cute. So I do that. Showed you before. I peel this a little bit. You have to peel enough from around here that the sprout can grow bigger without, see, and you can just peel it here. If you look, this one was starting to strangle. It's easier to peel from the bottom, in all honesty. So give me a second. My garbage can moved. It's easier to peel from the bottom up than it is from the top down. Cloves don't like to peel, but okay, here. If you peel enough away, can you see that? That's really phallic. Okay, right there. Can you see how it was starting to strangle? Okay, it was starting to damage itself. Anyway, you just open it up a little bit. You don't have to open it up that much. And then you stick it in the ground. So I have, this pot will take 6 to 8 of them, and I'll show you it when it's done. Anyway, how's life? This is the first day of Diwali. Diwali is a holiday that is celebrated in India and parts of China and a couple of other countries. Some Muslims celebrate Diwali. It is one of the oldest known holidays that is still celebrated. See, he's got a sprout. See his sprout? It is a 5-day celebration that basically celebrates light defeating dark. Now, I find it really interesting that it's celebrated at the beginning of the dark season, not at the end. And I've thought about that a lot, and I've asked Hindi friends. Sikhs celebrate Diwali. I've asked various religious friends over the years, why? And the answer is always to give hope. To show you that it can be done. So that when you hit the peak of the darkness, you remember that light can win. Okay, that one won't split apart. It does have a sprout, but it does not want to split apart, so I'll just plant it. I'm not actually planting these in, I'm setting them where they're going to go, because then I'm going to show you how they set up. Anyway, Diwali is a 5-day celebration. And the first day of Diwali is very similar to, I don't remember which day, I'd have to look it up. The Coptic Christian belief system has the Great Fast, which is November 25th through January 10th. It's Christmas. And then you have the 12 days of Christmas. The 12 days of Christmas are from what Westerners call Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Christmas Day is the first day of Christmas. The second day of Christmas, third day of Christmas, fourth day, blah, 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 blah. There is within that, and I want to say it's January 7th, second most years, but I might be wrong, and I want to say it's the 7th day, but I might be wrong. There is within that a tradition that you buy all of the alcohol, all of the extras that you need for a year. The alcohols, the not necessary spices, the silks, but not the cottons, the extras. And you buy them all on one day of the year. And you go around shopping that entire day. It's a shopping holiday. It's a very old holiday. Diwali, the first day of Diwali, is a shopping holiday. This is one of the oldest holidays that humans have. And the first day is devoted to shopping. Specifically with Diwali, you're supposed to buy anything you need to make it through the winter. New boots, new coat, scarves, hats. These are gifts that are usually given at Diwali. Any presents you think you're going to buy, you're going to give during the course of the year, you should buy on the first day of Diwali. So, rings, necklaces, baubles, paintings, art. Anything you think that you're going to give away during the course of the year, you're supposed to buy during Diwali. And anything you think you need to live, to survive the cold months. Heating oil, wood for the fire, coal. So a huge amount of money changes hands. If you're in India right now, it's a spending spree. Okay? And I find it interesting that if you track, there are at least 7 other holiday religions between November and January that are spending holidays. Christmas is one of them. Christmas is a spending holiday. The purpose of Christmas is to buy gifts. The purpose of Western Christmas is to buy and give gifts. In the Coptic, on the 12 days of Christmas, if you visit somebody during one of the 12 days of Christmas, they're supposed to give you a gift. It is really annoying when somebody figures out that I follow the Coptic Christmas, so they show up every single day of the Coptic Christmas to say hi. Because traditionally you only get the one gift because you only show up once. Because you have a whole list of people you need to go visit. And then you have to plan to be home one day so people can come visit you. Anyway, the first day of Diwali is a shopping thing. The second day is beautifying your home. Not just housework, but new rugs, new drapes, painting, sand art. It's a beautification day. I'll have to look it up. It's in my brain. I had it all ready to go, and now I've forgotten it because I'm trying to concentrate on garlic and talking. The purpose of Diwali as a holiday is the defeat of light over darkness. And you light a candle to fight off the darkness. And I've always really, really loved the holiday. This takes us to... Some cultures get really, really upset about cultural appropriation, and some cultures welcome cultural adaptation. Not adaptation, adaptation. Most Japanese want you to love Japanese. Most Japanese, and mind you, I have Japanese aunt and cousins, most Japanese believe that they are the chosen race, and they want you to become Japanese. And if you physically cannot become Japanese, then, let's give it some time. And 3 generations from now, your kids will be Japanese. And you have to love the culture to become the race to become. I don't know that I'm explaining it well enough, but if you ask a Japanese person if it's cultural appropriation for you to wear a kimono, most Japanese people will say, no, hey, look at this one. This one was my great aunt so-and-so's. Do you want it? Seriously, this is my experience with Japanese people. Not just family, just Japanese people. They want you to become Japanese. I don't think you can culturally appropriate Japanese. Now, you can misappropriate, adapt, change, and piss them off by doing it wrong. Okay? An example of that, my husband and I have developed this habit in social situations where if we're stressed, we will both say, hi, hi, oh, hi, hi. Japanese is hi. The Japanese word hi is a formal yes. And it's usually used as a rebuke. Okay? So when either one of us say hi, it's a mild social rebuke to the other one. And we both know it. You know, these spouses have their secret languages. The casual yes is e. Anyway, and Japanese try really hard not to say no. If you're talking to a Japanese person and they're pushing resistance, if you say, hey, you want to go get lunch? Oh, I would love to. I have to finish this report. That's a no. They will culturally work to not say no. Watch for that, because Westerners really run roughshod on that. If they don't hear a no, they don't accept a no. Anyway, Michael and I say hi. That's one of our little I'm stressed out words. I don't like the situation I'm in. I want to leave something. Cultural appropriation versus cultural adaptation versus whatever. One time in a Japanese restaurant where we knew the mama-san, we knew the person helping us, the person who owns the restaurant who was serving us at the time. Michael had done something or other, and I went, oh, hi. And she turned and she looked at me and she goes, just hi. And she thought I was rebuking her because she was setting something down, and I said, oh, hi, and she pulled her hand back. And I went, no, I was talking to him. And I'm pointing at Michael, and she's like, it would be better if you did not say, oh. No, why? She goes, because sometimes that means me. I was like, me hi? Me yes? She goes, yes, so then you're talking about you, yes, which means you're telling me no. And she was really, really flustered about it, that how I had said it, because oh hi is a internet meme, you know, cheeseburgers and all that. It didn't translate well, and I'd used it wrong to her. And I was like, I am so sorry, I did not mean, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, oh, hi, okay. And turned and walked away, and I'm like, oh shit. So then about an hour later, as we were wrapping up, and I'd already put down a really big tip, and she hadn't seen the big tip yet, but she comes out and she gave me this cutest little bauble, Hello Kitty bauble. She goes, it's okay. Sometimes, some days, it's okay. And turned around and walked off. And I'm like holding this little bauble going, fuck, what do I do? It was an event. Don't say, oh, hi, around a Japanese person. It's not the right way to say it. Say hi. I'm not explaining it right. I can't do two things at once. Most indigenous Native Americans, Indians that I know, don't like any form of cultural adaptation or adoption. Either you are or you aren't. But the same people that will get all upset about pretendians and all upset about appropriation will welcome you into their family and expect you to become part of their family and expect you to know their cultural norms and prompts. So the hubby one time at a Chahta event made a comment that he's just the hubby. He's not Chahta, he's just the hubby. And the chief came running over, because he heard it out of the corner of his ear, came running over, pulled my, I'm not really big on physical affection husband, into a giant bear hug, and said, if you're the spouse of a Chahta, you are Chahta. Chahta is what Chahta is supposed to say. You are Chahta. Welcome to the family, and you need to start learning the language. And Michael goes, okay. And he goes, and we need to get you a ribbon shirt, and blah, blah, blah. And he's just going on and on and on and on and on. Welcoming Michael far more than I've ever been welcomed. It was kind of funny. because the assumption is I've already been welcomed. Anyway, when Michael deployed to, I think it was Iraq, I'm not sure which, I had been talking with Tribal on the phone about something or other, trying to get something lined up, and I made a comment, yeah, my husband's in Iraq. Oh, we need to send him a box. Like, he's spouse, not tribal. That means he's tribal. Would you quit saying that? I'm like, okay, what's his address? And I gave him his address, and they sent him this giant fucking box of stuff from the Choctaw Nation that he divvied up amongst everybody, and it was cool. If somebody who isn't spousal, isn't involved, adopts tribal stuff, Chahtas will go after you with a counting coup stick and hound you because you're not Chahta. So, I guess the point I'm trying to say is the difference between appropriation and being part is very, very thin, and I don't know what I'm trying to say. I really don't. I like Diwali. I've celebrated Diwali with people from India. I've celebrated Diwali with Sikhs. I've celebrated Diwali with Romani because some Romani celebrate Diwali. I've always done Diwali as an adult. It's a great holiday, and I've never met anybody who celebrates Diwali who doesn't openly and enthusiastically encourage everybody on the planet to celebrate Diwali. It's a great holiday. So, I don't think it's cultural appropriation to say celebrate Diwali. I do think that if you're going to celebrate Diwali, do a little bit of research, because too many of the neo-pagans out there have a bad habit of appropriating names and concepts and not actually doing the research that's involved, and then getting miffed when they get called on it. Okay, so the rest of these garlics, too many people in the New Age neo-pagan universe will take the concept of a god or goddess and not the facts of the god or goddess. There's writing on a temple wall in Egypt that has Lakshmi talking to Hathor about eye makeup. Okay? They were contemporaries at one point. They were discussing the benefits of kohl, which is the black stuff, the black Egyptian line, versus henna, which was done on the whole eye, to combat heat. And the end discussion was, use both. Put the henna down, let the henna come off, put the kohl down. That was their end discussion. And it's on a temple wall, which means it was part of culture for a very long time. Okay, y'all understand that the Egyptian culture, what we call Egypt was 3 different dynasties with dark ages in the middle. And what we call Egyptian dynasties were 1,000-year reigns with 1,000-year dark ages in the middle. It's kind of like China. What we call China is 10,000 years of history. What we call the West is 2,000 years of history. What we call the United States is a couple hundred years of history. We can't conceptualize the roots into the ground that some cultures have developed. Native Americans have. Native Americans can now track back 10,000 years. And that's Anchorage. Not saying it right today. Yeah. Anyway, this garlic here, right here, I'm going to cook with. It's all small and none of it has sprouts coming out. So that's cooking with tonight. This garlic here, I'm going to push each of the pods down until they're underground, and then it'll just get thrown out in the garden. And there will be garlic. First year you get a single bulb that's really, really yummy. I really like first year garlic. And scapes. You get the grass, the green. Second year, if you leave it alone, you get a head and you get ramps. Garlic's a 2-year crop. I have another pot here, and I wanted to see if, where did it go? I had some seeds, spice seeds, and I wanted to see if they'd sprout. Now I can't find them. So I'll probably just grab some seeds from my thing over there and plant something to grow indoors. I do that kind of throw it at the ground. It's called, not intentional, it's called inspirational gardening. That's not what it's called either. There's a word for it. This, I took a piece of geraniums that had a flower, snipped it off, stuck it in the ground, and brought it in to have the flower. Because you can put it in water just as easily as you can put it in dirt. Well, the flower's since died back, but can you see the little leaves? I will have a pot with geraniums in it. Okay, so this will go back out under the grow light, and another one will come in with a snip. You can do that with roses. You can do that with a lot of things. Back when I was an apartment dweller, I was always stealing other people's plants. Or a snip off of other people's plants. Anyway, my cocoa's probably cool enough. I've been talking for 20 minutes. I've been babbling for 20 minutes. It's the first day of Diwali. Light a candle against the darkness. You know? At the very least, take stock of what you need to get through the winter. That's a good thing, because that's what I tend to do. During Diwali, I make a list of, well, I have really warm boots this year, and I have a really warm coat this year, and I have a couple of sweaters this year. I am so far ahead of where we've been. I even have a couple of good pair of socks. Make a list of things you need to make it through the winter. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, do the whole thing. Make a list of things, presents you're going to need, at the very least. You know? Start working on it. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.